I'm boots on the ground here in the Philippines. I'm right in the middle of all this. It's for your benefit. My 11 years here doesn't make me an expert, but it gives me a unique perspective. I'd like to share that with you. It's going to make your trip here more enjoyable, and above all, more safer. Thank you so much. Enjoy my video. This is one of welcome to my channel. In light of these last three typhoons, it's been three typhoons in the last 3 weeks, in less than 3 weeks over here in the Philippines. Millions displaced. Right now with this typhoon Ulysses, the latest typhoon, the count is 67 dead so far. And I got to think, it got me to thinking. I was like, man, ever since I've been coming to the Philippines, it's been tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. Unlike anything I've ever seen. I've been to South America, Central America, Europe, Africa, Mexico, you name it. But I've never seen a country have so much tragedy as the Philippines. First tragedy I remember, see, I've been coming here since April 2009, and I remember the first tragedy that happened while I was here. It was in August of 2010. It was a bus of Hong Kong tourists. They were taken hostage by a disgruntled policeman who wanted to get his job back. He had been fired, he was trying to get his job back, and he took the bus hostage, and the Philippine SWAT was called in. They bum rushed the bus, and he ended up killing 8 people, and they ended up killing him. Well, it was a big deal because they was talking about it was a botched raid. The strategy was wrong, and on and on and on. And the president at the time, I believe is Aquino, he was blamed, and that's something that I think the people still hold against him. I know for a fact that Hong Kong to this day has never forgiven the Philippines for that tragedy. But that was the first tragedy. And I was here, and the next one that I was actually here when it happened, it was some typhoons, because it was in that, remember I was telling you on my video, wrong place, wrong time, October, November, December is when those first rain typhoons come, the ones that bring that flood and mudslides and all that. Well, this was December 2011, and in Misamis Oriental, that's around Cagayan de Oro, Iligan City, around that area, a typhoon swept through there, and because of a lot of the illegal logging, it caused a lot of these flash floods. And I think 3,000 people were killed, hundreds missing. And it had gotten so bad, because I was right in Cebu, which was only like a 35-minute flight to Cagayan de Oro. The funeral homes had run out of caskets. They were packed, they were stacking bodies in the streets. And this was long before Typhoon Yolanda in Tacloban. This was a few years before that ever happened. This was 2011. Yolanda was 2013. It's just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, on top of all the other suffering here, the poverty, the killings, a lot of police are killed here, journalists killed, excuse me, traffic accidents. Some of the most horrific traffic accidents that you would ever imagine. And it just got me to thinking, is there a more unlucky place than the Philippines? And I started thinking, I said, well, nature, being the great balancing act that it is, that's probably why it's so much beauty over here too, to counteract all of that pain and suffering. Just recently, and I thought it was a joke. I saw it on a guy's channel. He said a policeman had been killed by a rooster. I thought it was a joke. I looked in the Manila Times. Yeah, it was a police raid on an illegal cockfighting. It was a police raid on an illegal cockfighting farm or fight, and one of the policemen grabbed the rooster, and they wear those. If you ever seen a cockfight before, they wear those real sharp spurs on their beak, not only beaks, on their feet. And that's what, that's the weapons that they use to kill the other bird. Well, this sliced his femoral artery in his thigh. And before they even got him to the hospital, he had died. And it just goes to show you. My girlfriend said this. She said, expect the unexpected here in the Philippines. And it's true. So when you come over here, just try to have some compassion, because the people are numb from tragedy. They're suffering now up in the Cagayan Valley region. I've got subscribers up there, man, and I mean, it's just devastation on a scale that we just don't see all the time over there. If what happened in that Misamis Oriental in 2011 would have happened in the United States, we'd have a special holiday for that. But the people over here, they're so resilient, but at the same time, they're numb. Because the minute that they pick up from one tragedy, here comes another one. So when you come over, just try to have some compassion. When I say, hey, don't complain so much. Be thankful for what you got. Give back. Help if you can. All right? That's enough of that. And I wanted to touch on something, because one of my subscribers had heard me say that I don't use air conditioning over here. I don't have an air conditioner. I used to. I started coming here from 2009. I had my first apartment. It was actually a condominium I was renting in Cebu. I went out and bought a big, gigantic air conditioner. It never even crossed my mind to be without air conditioning here. I always thought, hey, this is the Philippines, it's hot. I'm going to need air conditioning. And I always had air conditioning up until 2019, when I rented this last place I moved out of, that place from hell. And I just moved out of a nice apartment with 2 air conditions, but I moved out because the air conditions in that apartment, the air conditioners were old. They were pulling a lot of energy, and my bill was high, like $5,600. That's a fortune to pay for an electric bill in the Philippines for a little 2-bedroom apartment. So we found this. She found the place. I was in Zamboanga, and while we were waiting to buy our own air conditioning, we just had the fan in the house. And I was thinking, like, when I got there, I was thinking, like, wow, maybe wait a couple of times. Maybe because it's the rainy season, I don't need it. And one day turned into 1 week, and 1 week turned into a month. I stayed there a whole year without air conditioning. And then when I was down in Zamboanga during the lockdown for 6 months. I was locked down there for 6 months. They didn't have air conditioning down there. But it didn't bother me. Something happened to me where I got used to just living with a fan. I don't know why it is. I don't know if it's because the way they construct these houses here, there's no insulation. It's hollow blocks, and most of all of the places, they have tile. They don't have carpeting or anything like that. And I just sleep with a fan now, and I promise you this, sometimes at night, I have to cut the fan off. It gets so cold. And I don't know why. I can't explain that. But it's something that you may want to fool around with. Different strokes for different folks. Like I said, I never thought of going without an air conditioner. When I came to the Philippines, that was already in my Western mind. I need an air conditioner. I need a big one, and I need it to be cold as possible. Not realizing that the overwhelming majority of people over here don't have air conditioning, have never had air conditioning. If they want to get air conditioning, they go to the mall or someplace like that. And so I don't use it now. In this place now, it's open, it's airy, it's breezy, and I really don't need it. The apartment that I did have it here in St. Carlos, I would cut it off at night anyway. It would just be too cold for me. I mean, it would kind of, when it gets so cold, it kind of like feels like it's burning your skin. But I don't use air conditioning. I know that's something that's hard to believe, and I'm in the Philippines, and I mean, it's hot over here. The average temperature is 82 degrees all year round, but in the summer it gets even hotter than that. But I just, as you see the fan, I just keep the fan close to me, and I've become acclimated to it. So that's something that, you may want to look into. Just try it, because it'll save you money, man. It's saved me a ton of money on my electric bill, and I'm not suffering. Like I said, there's one thing to be cheap and there's another thing to be simple. I just live a simple life over here. I'm not cheap. Any creature comfort that I want, I'll buy it. Okay, but I just tried that. It's something I want to throw out there to you. When you come over here, don't take for granted that you need an aircon. I don't know why. Maybe it's the construction of the houses. Like I said, the Philippines is surrounded by water and there's always a breeze coming off that water. Maybe that's it. I really don't know. But I don't use one. I haven't used one in over a year, and I don't plan on using one probably ever again, especially once this pandemic is over and I finished my research on Siquijor Island, because I'm thinking about moving to Siquijor Island. I'm going to do island living and see how I like that. But the last thing I want to talk about, and this is kind of serious topic, especially if you're dating somebody that has children, or you don't even have to be dating anybody with children. When you come over here, and this is really anywhere, but it's really profound here. Don't ever try to discipline the children over here. And I ain't talking about spanking them or anything. I'm just saying scold them or anything like that, or correct them, because they really take offense to that over here. And I know a lot of people are dating Filipinos who may have children. It's just something that I want to warn you about. Don't do it, because I grew up with a stepfather, and he really was easy with us. He never even, tried to correct us. But if he did, my mother didn't get mad. I mean, he was the man of the house. He paid the bills. He did this. He did that. But it's different over here. We were at the boulevard. This is pre-pandemic. And we had to leave because if some little kids, you're on the boulevard, and then there's the ocean right there. So, it has the flood wall there. And they're running up and down this flood wall. I mean, it about gave me a heart attack. I mean, because what's on the other side of that flood wall is about a 10-foot drop into the ocean. And I mean, they're running along the edge, just playing, and nobody was saying anything. It was like they didn't see the danger that these children were in. And it drove me crazy. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't stay there. I had to leave, because my nerves had gotten so bad. I could just see the kids just slipping and falling over there. But if I would have got up and said something to one of those kids, because this is crowded, this is one of their little night spots, it's where the barbecue vendors and everything is. You go down there, you buy your food, you look out on the ocean. It's really nice. You get that breeze coming off the ocean. But if I'd have got up and I'd have said, hey, stop that running, get away from the edge of that flood wall. You may hurt yourself. You might fall into the ocean. Man, I'd have probably had to leave the Philippines. That's how serious it is over here. So when you come over here, just keep that in mind. Don't ever try to discipline, correct, scold the children. They do not like that. They take offense to it. And, from what I know in my 11 years over here, they hold a grudge over here like nobody else. All right? That's another gem I'm going to give you. Okay? They get mad at you over here, it's forever. So you don't want to do that. Don't fool with these kids over here. If you have a problem, just go the other way, because a lot of times they don't discipline them, they don't scold them, they don't spank them unless they do something really, really terrible. I mean, they could be sticking a fork in the electrical socket. You better just leave out of the house. Don't try to stop it. Don't try to tell them to stop, because it's going to cause trouble. But I just wanted to get a few of things off my chest today. Don't come over here complaining. It's a lot of suffering over here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for stopping by my channel again. If you're in America, it's real early, you're just now getting up. Find somebody to help. Go to the grocery store, you see somebody on the street, buy them something to eat, buy them something to drink, give them a couple of dollars. If you're in the Philippines, it's getting late. Before you let your head hit the pillow, please help somebody. Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. We help other people, we help ourselves. Thank you so much. Stay COVID free, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.